This is going to be Taekwondo kicking exercises for really, really stiff people.
Where them kicks at? Where them hands? Where them holes? Where them throws? You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people, when they try to do a martial art, they try to get that straddle split that's like this. I don't think you should go for that first, especially if you're really stiff, because you might be putting too much pressure on your knees. Imagine these are your legs. I think you should try to expand this direction first, because this is like the natural direction that your legs bend in. And just like I can bend my finger back, it doesn't really hurt that much. If I try to go this way, this is going to hurt. What I'm saying is, I think you need to try to bend it forward and back, or especially forward as much as you can. And once you got that loose, it should make it easier for you to make the joint go wide this way. As you can see, you see how much wider I can spread my fingers sideways after I've loosened them up going to the front. So I think the similar dynamic is going to work with your hips. Okay, so we're going to break it up into about 4 different steps. The first thing I want you to do is just bend over at the waist. Try to see if you can put your hands on your own hips. If you're having trouble with that, do that for about 2 weeks. After you've gotten yourself to the point where you can bend over and touch your own hips or the top part of your own thighs, now bend a little lower and try to touch your knees. Once you can touch your knees, get to that point, just keep stretching like that once a day, every day for about another 2 weeks. After you do that, get to the point where you can touch your toes. Once you can touch your toes, do that for about another 2 weeks. Now, if you can't quite get to your toes, you can always try to go to your shins. So you're going to start by just bending over, then touching your thighs, then touching your knees, then touching your shins, and then touching your toes. After you do that, try to see if you can put your palms on the floor. But you don't have to. You can really stop at the point to where you can bend down to the front and touch your toes. That should be flexible enough. But if you feel like you want to go even further, try to see if you can get your palms on the floor. Now, another thing you should do is to try to get your flexibility with you standing up. If you're really stiff, the first thing you need to do is put your foot in a chair and be able to stand there with your foot in the chair without falling all over the place. Okay, now what you want to do at this point is try to get your balance while you're using the chair. First thing you want to do is just try to get your foot in a chair. It doesn't have to be a tall chair, just any chair that'll support your weight. Now that you've got your foot in a chair, I want you to see if you can bend over and touch your knee in the chair. Then after you can touch your knee in the chair, bend forward and touch your toe with one hand. Then after you can do that, bend over and touch your toes with 2 hands. After you can do that, try to see if you can get to your point where you can almost put your head on your knee. You don't have to be able to get your head on your knee, but just get as close as possible. And just like you did with the other exercise, work on it every day for about 2 weeks before you progress up. And then after that, once you get to the point where you can touch your foot in a chair with both hands, you can try raising your foot up. You can try putting your foot on a table. And if you get to a point where you can put your foot on a table and you're not falling over, and you can almost touch your foot to the touch your head to your knee while your foot's on a table, then you can do these high kicks. And I'm going to show you the high kicks right here. So I'm going to recommend that you don't try to do the split out to the side, or really any straddle split out to the side, until you get that front forward motion up and down going with your legs. Because a lot of people are really stiff when they come into Taekwondo, and you're going to get discouraged if you're trying to do a straddle thing where you can't extend a more natural range of motion. So practice to where you can kick that high. And because what I learned is, once I got my front kick up high, then I could make my roundhouse kick up high. Then I could make my side kick up high. Then I could make my hook kick up lower, highish, but high. And that's how I progressed. So thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with people that want to do Taekwondo but feel like they're a little too stiff to do it. This is one way to gradually work your way around the stiffness. Peace.